The bright morning sun poured through the towering glass walls of the Sterling Heights Corporate Center, making the polished marble floors glow like gold. Employees hurried through the lobby with coffee cups in hand, executives prepared for another important day, and no one noticed the frightened little girl running barefoot through the enormous building. Her tiny face was covered with tears, her breathing was uneven, and panic filled every step she took. She ignored the expensive suits, the reception desk, and the security guards who called after her. She was searching for only one person. When she finally reached the elderly janitor quietly mopping the hallway, she threw herself into his arms with desperate fear. Everyone froze as the child cried the terrible words that would change countless lives forever. Her mother had been beaten, she was dying, and nobody was helping her. What happened next would expose a secret that no one inside that billion-dollar company had ever imagined. Before we continue, if you believe kindness, courage, and second chances can change lives, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who loves inspiring stories, leave a comment telling us where you're watching from, and subscribe to the Kindness Legacy family so you never miss another unforgettable story. The little girl was named Nora Ashford, only 7 years old, the beloved daughter of powerful CEO Victoria Ashford. Despite her mother's enormous success, Nora remained a gentle child who loved drawing flowers, feeding birds, and talking to the quiet janitor everyone simply called Mr. Elias. Every morning before school she would greet him with a cheerful smile while most employees walked past him without even making eye contact. Mr. Elias always carried old pieces of bread in his pocket for the pigeons outside the building and kept colorful chalk hidden in his cleaning cart so Nora could decorate the sidewalk whenever she visited. Their friendship seemed ordinary to everyone else, but it was built on genuine kindness, something increasingly rare inside the competitive corporate world. Only minutes earlier, Victoria had been attacked inside the underground parking garage. A pair of masked criminals had followed her after she confronted them while they attempted to kidnap Nora. Victoria fought with every ounce of strength she had, protecting her daughter despite being badly injured. The attackers fled after realizing security cameras were everywhere, but they left Victoria unconscious beside her car. Nora escaped through an emergency stairwell, terrified and confused, remembering only one person who had always promised that whenever she was scared, she should find him. That promise led her straight to the janitor. Most people assumed Mr. Elias was simply an aging maintenance worker nearing retirement. His faded uniform, worn-out shoes, and quiet personality made him nearly invisible. Executives barely acknowledged him. New employees often mistook him for part of the furniture. What nobody knew was that decades earlier he had served as a combat medic during dangerous humanitarian rescue missions across several conflict zones around the world. After losing his wife and son in a tragic accident many years before, he walked away from his celebrated career, choosing a peaceful life where he could quietly help people without recognition. He never spoke about those years because painful memories remained too heavy to carry. The moment Nora collapsed into his arms, something inside Elias awakened. His calm eyes instantly recognized genuine terror. Without wasting even a second, he picked up the trembling child and sprinted toward the parking garage with surprising speed for a man everyone believed was old and frail. Employees stared in disbelief as the quiet janitor raced through the lobby faster than the younger security guards chasing behind him. When they reached the parking level, the horrifying scene silenced everyone. Victoria lay motionless beside her luxury vehicle, blood spreading across the concrete beneath her. Several employees panicked, unsure what to do. Some stood frozen while others shouted conflicting instructions. Elias dropped to his knees beside the injured CEO with complete focus. His hands moved with practiced precision, checking breathing, controlling bleeding, stabilizing her neck, and using supplies from the building's emergency medical kit as though he had performed the procedure thousands of times before. The security team watched in disbelief as Elias calmly directed everyone around him. His confident voice replaced panic with purpose. One employee was instructed to call emergency services again with specific medical information. Another was told to bring blankets to prevent shock. Someone else was ordered to clear space for arriving paramedics. Within moments, the chaos became organized, all because the invisible janitor had quietly taken control. Nora knelt nearby holding her mother's hand, crying silently while Elias reassured her through gentle smiles and calm eyes. He never made impossible promises, but he refused to let fear overwhelm the little girl. Every action reflected years of experience hidden beneath a humble uniform. When the ambulance finally arrived, the lead paramedic immediately recognized the advanced medical procedures already performed. He looked at Elias with surprise, realizing only a highly trained trauma specialist could have stabilized such severe injuries so effectively. The paramedic later admitted that without those first critical minutes, Victoria would almost certainly not have survived the trip to the hospital. News spread across the company within hours. Employees who had ignored Elias for years suddenly discovered the man they overlooked had quietly saved their CEO's life. Questions filled every office. Who exactly was this janitor? How had he learned those extraordinary skills? Why had he never mentioned any of it? While Victoria underwent emergency surgery, Nora refused to leave Elias's side in the hospital waiting room. She held his weathered hand throughout the long afternoon, finding comfort in the steady kindness he offered without asking for anything in return. Nurses smiled at the unusual friendship, sensing a bond that reached far beyond ordinary circumstances. Late that evening, one of the hospital's senior surgeons approached Elias after reviewing the ambulance report. The doctor recognized his name from old medical journals describing remarkable rescue operations years earlier. The surgeon suddenly realized that the humble janitor sitting quietly beside a frightened child had once trained many of the country's best emergency specialists. The discovery spread through the hospital staff with astonishment. Yet Elias showed no interest in praise. His only concern remained Victoria's recovery and Nora's emotional well-being. While executives argued about security failures and public statements, Elias spent hours helping Nora draw hopeful pictures for her mother, reminding the little girl that courage often shines brightest during life's darkest moments. After a difficult surgery lasting several hours, Victoria finally regained consciousness. Weak but alive, her first request was to see her daughter. Doctors allowed Nora inside briefly. The emotional reunion brought tears to everyone watching through the hospital window. Mother and daughter embraced carefully, grateful simply to be together again. Victoria later learned every detail of what had happened. When she heard that Elias had saved her life, overwhelming gratitude filled her heart. Weeks passed as Victoria slowly recovered through intensive rehabilitation. During the time she learned more about the janitor than anyone inside her company ever had. She discovered his military service, humanitarian missions, disaster relief work, and decades spent saving strangers across the world before personal tragedy convinced him to disappear from public life. She also learned that despite receiving countless awards, he had quietly donated nearly all prize money to children's hospitals and orphan care programs. When Victoria finally returned to work, she organized a company-wide gathering in the bright outdoor courtyard under clear blue skies. Hundreds of employees assembled, expecting another routine corporate announcement. Instead, Victoria invited Elias onto the stage. The elderly janitor looked uncomfortable beneath the attention, but Nora proudly held his hand as they walked together. Victoria spoke not about profits or business success but about the value of character. She admitted that despite leading thousands of employees, she herself had overlooked one of the greatest people working inside her own building. She confessed that titles, expensive offices, and impressive resumes had blinded many from recognizing true greatness dressed in ordinary clothes. She thanked Elias for saving not only her life but also her daughter's future. The crowd rose into a standing ovation that seemed to last forever. Many employees wiped away tears. Several admitted privately that they had walked past Elias every day without even saying good morning. That realization weighed heavily on their hearts. Victoria offered Elias an executive position overseeing emergency preparedness and employee wellness across every company location. She believed someone with his wisdom could protect countless lives while teaching compassion throughout the organization. Elias accepted only after ensuring he could continue mentoring young people and volunteering with local community programs. The company culture slowly transformed. Employees became kinder to maintenance workers, receptionists, cafeteria staff, and security officers. Simple greetings became common. Acts of appreciation replaced silent indifference. Nora often reminded everyone that heroes rarely wear expensive suits. Sometimes they carried mops instead. If this story has touched your heart so far, please support our channel by liking this video, sharing it with your friends and family, leaving a heartfelt comment below, and subscribing to Kindness Legacy. Your support helps us continue bringing inspiring stories that remind the world compassion still exists. Special request. Before this story ends, please comment one word. Kindness, if you believe every person deserves respect, no matter what job they do. Months later, the parking garage where the attack occurred had been transformed into a bright, secure entrance filled with natural light, security improvements, and a beautiful mural painted by local children. At its center stood a simple message chosen by Nora herself. The greatest heroes are often the ones nobody notices until the day they save your life. Every morning afterward, employees entering the building noticed Elias greeting everyone with the same gentle smile he had always worn. The only difference was that now people smiled back. Executives shook his hand. New workers sought his advice. Children visiting the office ran to hug him. Yet despite the recognition, he remained exactly the same humble man who believed the greatest reward was knowing another family would have tomorrow together. The true miracle was never the secret medical skill that shocked everyone. It was the quiet kindness that had lived inside an overlooked man long before anyone discovered his extraordinary past. In a world obsessed with appearances, one frightened little girl had reminded an entire company that greatness is measured not by wealth, titles, or power, but by the willingness to help another human being when every second matters. And because one invisible janitor chose compassion over recognition, a mother lived, a daughter kept her family, and hundreds of people learned that sometimes the most valuable person in the room is the one nobody bothered to see until it was almost too late.